weapons of war. One guy kills a dinosaur. All these things are happening in a very short amount of time to show how wicked man becomes in a very, very quick amount of time. And we'll see this again and again throughout Scripture. The refrain in the book of Judges is that there was no king in Israel and everyone did what was right in his own eyes. But right before that verse is the generation that remembered Joshua and the other leaders died, and they all fell away from the Lord. That is how quickly things turn around. One generation, and it's already a completely different world. Now, things can happen for the good in one generation. We have churches that are planted, they have no members, no followers, and then within one generation, they're huge churches. The word just explodes, it takes off, it grows. But the same happens in reverse. Sin. It doesn't take long for sin to take root. This verse right here. Sin is crouching at the door. Sin is always crouching at the door, waiting to take over, waiting to rule you, waiting to plant its flag in your heart and to dominate you. That is what Cain is experiencing. And that's what Cain's line experiences, is that sin is crouching at the door, it attacks, it overwhelms, and then it destroys. So that is the escalation of sin, that it happens that fast. That we have murder here in chapter 4. And you think about that, they can still see the Garden of Eden. They still know where it is. We have people alive who lived in the Garden of Eden. And now this is how far creation has fallen. That we've gone from living in a perfect creation to the blood, your brother's blood cries out to me from the ground. So that is the escalation. Cain, of course, is exiled. The question is, what would Cain be worried about? Well, the answer seems pretty obvious. He'd be worried about Abel's family, Cain's own brothers and sisters, who would want to seek revenge for the death of Abel. That they have families by now, they've kind of grown, and they've spread out a little bit, but not much. That Cain moves away, says that there are still places on earth you can run away to and hide. And that's where Cain goes. Out of fear of what will my family and Abel's family do to me when they find out I have killed Abel. So that's really the example there. So that's going to wrap us up for chapters 3 and 4. Again, if you have thoughts or comments or questions, feel free to pass them along. Got a couple after our first video. Thanks for those. Feel free to keep sending them. Next week, we will be looking at the flood in Genesis 6 through 9. So again, highlighting the high points and skipping over the low points. We'll be skipping over the second half of chapter 4 and all of chapter 5. But we will cover all of the flood next week, chapters 6 through 9. Until next week, have a great day. May the Lord bless you as you continue to study and dive into His Word and continue to read, mark, and inwardly digest that Word and to build a solid foundation upon which our faith is built. Have a great day.